Okay, kids, this is the one that most of y'all were wanting me to do. So I'm going to do Toad this week. So this is the bonus video. I'm going to do a simple Toad to start you guys off because I don't, I want y'all to start learning the technique first, which is really, like I told you before, it's about your lines and understanding where things are positioned. So for instance here, if you have a ruler, same thing like I showed you with the boat. You can use a piece of paper like me. I'm drawing a really light line down my paper, okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing on the center of my paper, just like I showed y'all in class. Really light. You want to make sure that you're able to erase these lines because this is not part of your drawing, okay? So can y'all see how light those are? Yeah, real light, just like that. The next thing that we're going to do with Toad is we're going to get his face first, okay? So we want to make sure that we're making these even. So what we're going to do is, we know that he's got a big head. We probably won't draw the whole head and just maybe let some of his head sit outside of the frame. But let's start his face about right here. So let's put as a little dot, just like that, okay? And then you can use your eraser if you want to kind of get yourself measured, so we know from here to like right here on the eraser. And so I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I know where I did it, so I'm going to put me a little dot. Because we're going to want his face to kind of line up. Okay? The next thing that we're going to do is, Toad has kind of like a shorter fat face. So we're going to bring it around to this center point here. Okay, so just come on around to this center point here, okay? Do the same thing on this next side. Now, what I don't want you to do is trying to focus on getting it straight the first time. What you do is you use this to kind of give you an idea of how off you are, okay? So let's see. On this side, I see that I put a little bit more of a curve. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up through here, okay? And I'm going to work on putting that same type of curve that I put on the last one. Just like that, okay? That way, my Toad's face looks the same on both sides. Coming over this way, and then I'm going to work this up just like I did the last one. That's the first thing when it comes to Toad, okay? The next thing that we're going to do is to make the hat kind of sit 3D-ish, okay? We want his face to come in just a little bit. So just kind of do like this, not much. Do like this, not much, okay? The next step is we're going to take this area right here, and this is the top portion. And so you just kind of want it to go up a little, like that, okay? Up a little, like this. I'm hoping y'all can see these lines. Let me try to come down here. Okay. The next thing is we want to bring this over, okay? Don't get too much of a curve because this is the top point where his little hat is going to start. And so you don't want too much of a curve. Okay. So as you see, I worked my line. All right. Now the next part that we're going to do is we're going to start Toad's head. What you want to do is you want to come down just a little bit, so barely come down, just a little bit from that line, okay? And then we are going to start the round part of his head. And use your pencil and your hand just to kind of take it around like this. So I'm hoping y'all can see this. Alright. The next part, we want to do the same thing. So all we want to do is we want to start working that roundness in his head. Now this part might take you some time. Don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. All you have to do is just take your time with it. Play with your lines. So like for instance, I just saw that mine isn't. So I'm going to turn my paper upside down because this is how it works best for me. I curved this one just right. And so now what I want to do is I want to curve this one the same way. And I want to use my hand to do it. See? And now I can just go, and this little piece here, I can erase it. That's why we do our lines like that, so that we can go through and we can erase and we can get what we were trying to get out of it. Okay? So here it goes. Now I'm going to draw these a little darker because I want y'all to really be able to see these, okay? So here it is. Here is Toad's face, okay? We have Toad's face. And here it is, the top portion of his hat. Okay? And we have his cute little round head. Okay? Just like this. Now I'm going to turn my paper around. I suggest you do that too. It makes it easier for me to get that circular head down. Okay? Now, the next part that we're going to do is we are going to add in his eyes. And so, as we saw, I drew this line down this paper like this. So I want to go over and put his eyes in, but I want to make sure that his eyes are on the same level. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this line going across like this, okay? And then I'm going to draw another line going across like this, because that's going to show me if I did his eyes the same, okay? So now I'm going to take my pencil, I'm going to start a circular motion like this, and then I'm going to lay my pencil down on the paper. So you see I started the circular motion before I put my pencil to the paper, okay? That's how you're going to get those circles. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to also use these lines here to show me where his mouth is going to be. So I see where this circle is, right here, okay? And this one. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to put this one and this one. You see how I got them in the same places? Okay? Then I'm going to come and connect these two lines like this. I know it looks funny. Then, instead of putting up my pencil right where this last one was up here, I'm going to come down to the very bottom of this line, okay? And I'm going to draw the bottom portion of his mouth to this line here. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I want those to come down a little more, so let me erase this. Okay, let's bring it down a little more, like this. Yeah, let's give him a cute little smile, like this. All right. Now that we got his smile in, okay, we can put his little tongue right here in his mouth. just like that. Okay, now the next part that we're going to do is, hold on, sorry guys. Okay, the next part that we're going to do is, if you haven't rounded his chin off some, kind of round his chin off some. Okay, I drew my lines a little darker so that you all can kind of see what I'm doing. Normally I wouldn't have drew it dark right there. I just did that so that y'all could see the lines. Okay, erase that kind of flatter chin that we used whenever we were trying to just make that face. Okay, there we go. The next thing that we want to do is draw the circles in his hat. So I know that I want my circles to end about right here, so I'm drawing my straight line across. Okay, my next one I want it to end right here, so I'm going to draw my straight line across just like this. It's all about those lines. Then go up here to this line and draw a half circle like this. So I'm going to draw it a little darker so that you can see it. Okay, same thing over here. Go to that same line, and then we're going to draw that half circle to the next line just like we did. I'm going to draw mine darker so you can see it. Okay, now use these same lines when you're drawing that other circle. Circles are hard, I know that. Okay, so if you have something that you want to use to make a circle, go ahead. Other than that, you know, you can use your lines, and the way that you do that is you get a point. So I know I'm going to go up here to this point, and I'm going to take my pencil and go around to my next point. But I don't want y'all getting discouraged on circles, okay? Like I told you, I like to flip my paper around like this because I like to use my hand to help guide my circle. And I'm going to keep turning my paper just like you see me doing, okay, as I get my circle going. And you just keep going until you feel like you've gotten the right circle, okay? Just like this, round and around and around. Okay, so I feel like I got a pretty good circle right there. So the next thing that I'm going to do is use my eraser to erase the parts of the circle that I don't like. Okay, so I know that I don't want any of this right here in my circle. So I'm going through very lightly, and I'm erasing the parts that I don't want in my circle, just like this. I'm gonna go through here, just like this. All right, now I'm gonna take my pencil, I'm gonna darken my circle so that you can see my circle, okay? So I'm going through, I'm gonna darken this for you guys. Just like this. All right, so that's how I get a circle, okay? And as we see, Mrs. Carson has a circle. All right, next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna draw his body. So we don't want his body starting way down here, because his body, his chin kind of sits inside of his body. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up to about right here, okay, to start this body. Now what I want you to do to make sure that your body's in the right place, just take your pencil, barely draw a line across. This is going to show you that you're lining up the body in the same place. Let me kind of bring that up. See that line? It's real light. That's the line that you're going to draw so that you can see where to start this body and make sure that you're doing it at the same space. Now, what we're going to do is we're only going to focus drawing it to this line right here. We're going to take this down and we are going to just draw the vest. So the vest is going to go down and kind of over like this, down and kind of over like this, okay? Now I want to take this vest from here and I want to take it down till I get to this line right here. And I'm going to do the same thing for this side. I'm going to take this down until I get to this line. Okay? There we go. All right. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the inside of this little vest that he wears. Okay? All you're going to do is go over till you get to this little line right here. So you see where that line is right there? That's where we're going to start his vest. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take it kind of down and over just like we did the last one. Okay? Same thing here. Same spot. Okay? And we're going to take it down and over just like we did the last one. So this is about where you should be. Okay? Now I'm going to darken these lines a little bit so that y'all can see where I'm at. Okay? Okay. Just like that. Okay, so now we want to be able to draw his little chest so that we'll know where he's going to start. So right at about here, so we're going to start it right here. And we're going to just draw right across. So it should look like this when you're done. And it's not a big curve, but it does have somewhat of a curve because it is his beginning of his trousers. So y'all see that? Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring these down to where we want them. And I would want to bring it down to about right here. So I'm going to draw a straight line across. Okay? So this is what your line should look like. This one right here. Okay? And then I'm going to bring down his jacket to this line. Same thing. Bring it down just like this. Bring this one down the same way, just like this. Okay? So now we know that this is his full jacket. Now we know that his jacket has like an inside to it. And so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to bring this over, okay, right where this point is. I want you to see this point right here where these two are connected. You see this little triangle area here? That's where we're going to start his jacket, the inside. So we're going to bring it down all the way to that line that we just drew. So this line here is where it needs to be. Okay? Same thing on the other side. Same thing. We're just going to bring it down just like this. Okay? Just like that. All right. Now we're going to take it and that same line that we drew, all you got to do, draw a line straight across, just like that. just like that. Okay? And then the next step that we're going to do is just bring this one all the way down to that other line, all the way down to that other line, and then draw across, just like that. So did you see this line, see that? Okay. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna draw the bottom portion of his trousers, okay? So his trousers are gonna start towards the edge of his jacket. Now to kind of make this look a little 3D-ish, we're just gonna curve this jacket just a little bit, curve this jacket just a little bit. Kind of like how we did, remember how we did up here with the head? That's what we're doing right here, barely, okay? Then you're gonna wanna draw his bottom portion of his body. It's not round, okay? It's kind of round, but it's not round. You're gonna go down, kind of out a little bit like this. And then you're gonna start coming into your line. Don't try to make it perfect the first time. Just kind of get your bearings going here, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing here. And for me, it's just gonna be going, just making sure that I'm keeping that same line. See that? Keeping that same line where I start my curve, and then I'm gonna bring it on in to the center, just like that. And then once I kind of see what I've done, then I say to myself, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to make it a little rounder here. I want to take it down just a little more here, okay? Because this is what looks good to me. And because that's the way I wanted to do it, I'm going to do the same thing over here because that's what I think looks good, okay? And I'm going to take it over just like this. Get my eraser. Erase the parts I decided I didn't want, okay? Just like this. And then now I have it the way that I want it, okay? The next thing that we're gonna do, and here I'll kind of darken this to make sure that y'all can really see what I'm doing here, okay? Okay, so I got a little bit darker for you, so hopefully that you can see this now. Okay, so now we're gonna draw his feet, okay? His feet, we're going to use this same line. This line that I drew across here, I'm gonna draw it a little bit darker for you, okay? You see this line? We're gonna use this line for his feet. So what we're gonna do is that line is going to determine where his shoe is going to be. We're going to come to, let's see, what's the best way I can describe this? Okay, from this point of this jacket, come towards this line, just like this, and that's where the shoe will start. Same thing here. Take it from the jacket and make sure you're coming towards that line, okay? And that's where that shoe's gonna start. So this is kind of what your lines need to look like. I came from the jacket and I went towards this line, jacket towards this line, okay? Now, we're gonna take this shoe and we're gonna start it right where that line is. So I'm gonna take the shoe, I'm coming kind of down and out with a curve. I'm taking it down. He has big feet, but he doesn't have humongous feet. So just make sure that we're being you know, pretty cool about the feet that we're putting on him, okay? Then we're going to take this foot up and around, just like this, okay? And I'm shaping his foot out the way that I want it. I'm wanting it to go up a little more here and out. Okay, then I'm going to erase the parts I don't want, which is why I always tell y'all to draw lightly. So I know that I ended this foot here, so what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to draw a line over here, okay, a straight line. If you need to use a ruler, use a ruler. But I'm going to draw a straight line over because I know that I want the next foot to do the same thing. This point where I curve the foot, guess what? I'm going to draw a line right over here, just like that, so that I know this is where I'm going to bring the foot. The easiest way to do it for me is I would start backwards this time. So I would start with this part of the foot, and I would bring the foot out, and then I would create that same triangle that I have here, that obtuse triangle, okay? And I would take it down here, just like that, and then I would come over. Now that part that I started here, same thing, same thing. All you're gonna do is just bring the foot out, curve it on down, okay? Just like this, and then curve it over. That's how you get your feet to match, just like that. And now I'm gonna fix it the way I want it. So I know that I want this to come down a little more. I know that I want this to kind of come right about here. And I want to end it there. So then I'm going to go through with my eraser. I'm going to erase the parts I don't like. Okay. And there we go. We have Toad's feet. Okay. All right. Kind of draw a little bit of a topping on his shoe, just to kind of give it a little texture. Okay, so here it is. We have Toad's feet. He looks a little funny because he doesn't have arms. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is draw his arms. So we're going to just kind of use this same thing. We know that his hands need to come about right here. So I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw my line straight across because I want his hands to match. So I'm drawing my line, and that's where I'm going to end Toad's hands. Okay, so here it is. We have Toad. I just drew this line right here because this is where I want his hands to end. And I drew it like that on this side too. Okay. The next part that we're going to do, sorry, that was bothering me. Okay, the next part that we're going to do is we're going to draw the portion of his hand first. Some people do it a little bit different. I do it this way because it's easy for me. So this line and this line, right here, this line and this line. Those are the lines we're going to use. So it's the line that we drew from the very beginning. Remember when we put that cross on our paper from the very beginning? We're going to make his hands fit right there and right there, just like that. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the beginning of his fist. And we'll draw a little bitty line like this. Then I want you to go over on that next side, and I want you to do the same thing. Draw a little line like this. So this is what we're looking at. A line and a line, just like that. Okay? The next thing that we're going to do is now we're going to bring the thumb into play. So the thumb is going to come down. And I want y'all to know, hands are the hardest thing for people to draw. You can ask any artist, and they're going to tell you hands are so hard to draw. So as we're getting ready to draw these hands, I do not want you getting frustrated, okay? I want you to really, really try this and don't quit. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this thumb, okay, and we're going to go up and over, kind of like this, just up and over. So it's going to have a bit of a curve to it, okay? So this is what you should have right now. This is going to be the thumb of the fist. We're going to do a fist today, okay? I know the ones that y'all saw me draw at school had hands, and I want y'all to try hands at another time. But for today, we're gonna do fist. So just kind of curve it up a little bit more there, curve it up a little more there. So now it should have kind of that thumb curve. Do you see it? Okay. The next thing that we're gonna do is right where we put that curve coming up, if you'll drop it down below it just a little bit, just put a line like this. Drop down below it and put a little line. So that line right there, that line. Okay, after you do that, then I want you to put a little bitty line right here, barely. So these are little. These are just little subtle things that I'm adding right there. Right there, very subtle. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna start right here, and we're going to go all the way down till we get to this line, okay? Just like this. So same thing, start there, go all the way till you get down to your line. And I know you're looking at it, you're like, Mrs. Carson, that looks like crab hands. No, it's gonna look like a fist in just a minute, okay? Take it over till it meets the thumb. Over till it meets the thumb. So now, it should be over and meeting the thumb. Okay, all right. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna put little small ones next to it. So it's gonna go up, over, up, over, up, over, up, over. Don't worry about what they look like. Don't worry about what they look like. Connect it, connect it, connect it, connect it, okay? Now, take your pencil and go up like this, up like this. So this is where we're at, okay? These things need to be kind of small in there. So this is about what it looks like right now. Something like this. See? Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is now we're going to start this arm. Okay? And we're going to let the arm connect the rest of the hand. So we're going to take right here where this fist and this line is, okay? And we're gonna go up into the shirt. Same thing over here where the fist and the line is and up into the shirt. So where that line and that fist is, up to the shirt, up to the shirt, okay? That's the first part of the arm. The next part that we're gonna do is going to come from the shirt, and we're going to take this and we're just going to kind of draw it down, okay? Draw it down. Oop, that one went out too far. I hope you didn't do it like that. I wasn't looking at my paper. All right. Draw it down till we get to the line. Okay, same thing. Draw it down. I gotta turn mine. Draw it down till we get to that line. Just like that. So now we got Toad starting to have arms. Okay. Then we're just going to take this arm and bring it outwards and draw the last part of that little fist in. Draw it outwards and draw that last part of that little fist in. And then we'll start perfecting our fist. You don't want the lines to be so concrete because it's what we were using to make it, okay? So now we have this coming down, this thumb is coming up. We got this finger in there. We got these hands coming through, these fingers coming through. Same thing over here. Bring that fist on down. Now you're just kind of getting it to look the way that you want it to look, okay? Just like this. I want this finger to come all the way in. Okay. Same thing over here. All I'm doing, I'm just going through, making my hands look the way that I visually think they should look. Okay? And you do the same thing. You're looking at it, and you're like, okay, this is what I want it to look like. He's got little fat hands. All right, there we go. Okay, so we have fist. Okay. So we have his fist. Now, we're just going to go through and erase all these lines that we drew. And then I'm going to show you how to tighten him up a little bit. Because this is what you call just your little sketch to kind of get your character on the paper. And we use lines to do it. All you do is go through, draw your lines so that you can even things up. It'll help you put it together. Okay. You should be erasing as I'm erasing. Just go through and get all those lines out of your character. Okay, just like this. There we go. Okay. Don't worry if you accidentally erase some of your lines, because now you know where they are, so you can just always go back over it. Okay? Just like that. Alright, now let's start darkening up Toad. So let's draw his eyes darker. Okay. Let's draw the lines for his mouth darker. Remember I told you I'm applying pressure, but not so much pressure that I'm breaking my pencil. Okay. We don't need any pencil breaking. I'm going to come down. And I just kind of do it in the order that feels comfortable with my hand. As you see, I won't necessarily draw the lines together. But I'll just kind of do stuff that's go in a direction that's comfortable with my hand. And so you need to just find out what's comfortable with your hand when you do it, okay? Okay. Get his foot. Just go through just like I'm doing, okay? Same thing. Same thing. All the way through. Okay. Same thing with these hands. Draw that arm down and kind of round it out when you're doing your final one. Okay. Same thing over here. And as you see, I turned my paper to do this. All right. So, we have Toad. Here's Toad. Just like this. Cool? All right. You color him how you want. And bring him to class so I can see how great you did. All right, guys. I will see y'all at school.